Hi, hold on a second, please.
All right. There you are.
Okay. We said we would do היכן מתחילה יממה יהודית.
Page 106.
106. Just curious if he has anything about Likuye Chama, Likuye Levana in here.
Sorry?
Or if there's anything about eclipses.
I think he's mentioned it.
Huh?
I think he mentioned it early on that it happens. You ready for the world to end?
Near to Shem. Hopefully. Likuye Chama, Likuye Levana, page 121. I think maybe we should do it. We'll cover it tomorrow. What do you say?
Is the eclipse is only in the States, right? It's not going to be over here.
First of all, it's not true. It is over there. It's just the middle of the night.
Oh, so a lot of good it does me.
What?
So a lot of good it does me.
Yeah, you won't be able to see it, but it's that eclipse occurs everywhere at the same time, exactly when the molad is exactly right before the molad. Okay, but I see you're not thrilled about it. All right, we don't have to do it. Fine.
You can do it. I don't mind.
Thing is, we really have to take a picture of this and then we'll share the screen. That's what we'll do it. 1 second. Oops. See. 1 second. Okay, while we're waiting, we might as well start. I'm gonna send myself a picture about this. Okay, Marot Erech v'Chodesh Avri. Page 121. Chodesh Avri u'Chodesh Yarchi. The Jewish month is a lunar month. It's based on the monthly cycle of the moon. על פי תאריך היום בחודש העברי ניתן לדעת האם יראה הלך בלילה, מה יהיה מראהו, איזה שעה בערך יזרח או ישקע. You know, all sorts of things about the moon based on knowing what time it is of the month. Okay, התרשים שלפנינו, which we will now share momentarily with the Olam. 1 second.
Our audience out there in TV land.
Okay. So Atashim Fanenu means this one over here. Arot HaYarech. נועד לתת לנו תמונה כללית המראה הירח. אורות הירח משתנים מיום ליום לפי תאריכי החודש העברי. This tells us how you see the moon differently based on the Jewish calendar, the Jewish month. בחשבונות הלוח העברי הנוהגים היום אין ראש חודש א' בחודש, חל תמיד ביום המולד, או סמוך לו. כך אין לחפש תרשים שלנו את הדיוק. The molad does usually not occur it does not always occur on the day of Rosh Chodesh, but rather adjacent to it. For example, tomorrow is Erev Rosh Chodesh Nisan. The molad takes place at 10 o'clock at night, approximately, in Eretz Yisrael. It takes place in Chutz La'aretz at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in America, because Mola occurs simultaneously all points on Earth at the same time. So it's happening on Rosh Chodesh in Eretz Yisrael. Therefore, theoretically, although unlikely, what the time in Kasha period they could be Makadesh the Chodesh on Tuesday. Sorry, it's unlikely because somebody would have to actually see the Molad, but on Tuesday for that to happen, to see the moon. And since the it's only take place at 10 p.m., it's not necessarily going to be visible before morning the next day. In which case, Rosh Chodesh Bisman that we in Makadesh Beria would be on Wednesday. Okay? In any event, Mamachtzit Rishona Shel Chodesh Holech V'Zoreach, and there's an important thing to notice here is that the Zion is enlarged. Okay, Matzit Holech V'Goreach, and the Gimel is enlarged. I guess it's a way to remember it. Very similar. The question is, which side is illuminated? Well, no, in the illuminated side, I should say. The right side of the moon is illuminated. And in the that's why he has Simanei Spira Mamiyim now. Probably if you remember that is Rosh Chodesh. Rosh emphasize Reish, Chodesh emphasize Shin. That the Chodesh the Mayon Reish, so Chodesh L'Shin. Siman Acher, Zoreach, and Goreach. And now, so the right versus the left. Okay. Hamola. Now, this is, I think, one of the few things which are actually printed in this book in printed font. So I guess put into a new edition at some point. And the Simanim only applied to the northern hemisphere. I guess the southern hemisphere is the opposite.
Correct.
What?
Correct. If we look up, the moon looks upside down to what we're used to seeing in the southern hemisphere.
Never been zeicha to see it, but okay.
Me either, but I saw something on YouTube.
Okay. Mola Alvana, kibbutz. That was, I don't know what it means.
Kibbutz Hashemesh v'Yareach.
Oh, equals kibbutz, meaning kibbutz Hashemesh v'Yareach. Okay. It's an interesting term. Ma'avana stama molad, who a rega bo magia almana malcha misi la'aretz. That's not true. That's the moment before the molad. The moment before the molad is when actually it veers off that direct path. When it's between the sun and the earth, that is the moment before the molad. Kibbutz Yarech L'Shemesh Ustam Kibbutz Shata Kibbutz. Kach Nugaliko Shata Molad. In the Shvei Kadorets in Mekilo Chamav Manani Taptsu Yachad. You don't see the moon because its dark side faces the earth, as we see in the table above. So again, that's not the time of the molad. Molad is a moment later. The time of the kibbutz is the moment before the molad. Lulach Havri. We've seen already several times in space. When they used to be about based on vision and sightings. At the sunset, after the moon has distanced itself sufficiently from the sun, but no less than 8 hours after the true molad kibbutz, which that's why I said in bunch of time, it would happen 10 p.m. The molad should be on Wednesday, on not Tuesday. See, now we do according to reckoning. Only Rosh Hashanah, which was Chodesh Tishrei, it had to sync with the Moladot. That's why we had the whole principle of Molad Zaken, which actually is the basis of the page which we skipped today, 106, of where the international date line is. It's not always a molad, and it's telifamim api klali atchiyot b'yom ha'yamayim yom ha'molad. It's pushed up by a day or two. Furthermore, cheshbon l'tot shuach levi aruch api cheshbon hamolad emtzai. It goes by the average molad. Shemagdim ma'acher mispar shot the molad. It could be a few hours off the true molad. More concisely barur. Well, it must be clear. Fikalei lelach העברי הנוהגים היום הם מקפידים שיום א' בחודש יחול ביום המולד. Does not have to happen in molad. החשבון פנוי כך ששייכים שיחול תמיד סמוך למולד. They're always adjacent to the molad, slightly before, slightly after. Okay, now let's go back to the column 1 here. Chalifot Mari Yarech. Yarech hu guf chaser, or moon lacks its own light. Hamgel to remain shemesh. It's the light from the sun. Karei shemesh mirot miachti shosh yarech. The rays of the sun always illuminate half of the moon. Because the moon changes places when it goes orbits around the earth. Near Lunar Yarech Gemarotav Ashonim. I see the moon different ways. Bizman ha'molad Yarech nitza bein hashemesh v'kador haaretz. Because lufnei kol chetzio chashuch shel Yarech mul haaretz. The entire dark part of the moon is opposite the earth. So the if you look at the chart below this column, underneath this box, you see Aleph, moon is completely dark, and the orbit, the outer orbit, shows the moon's relation to the sun. In other words, the inner orbit shows what we see, which has Aleph, Dalet, so on and so forth. The outer orbit shows what is the relationship to the sun. Okay. So in Aleph, the sun is illuminating the back half of the moon, and we see nothing. On Dalet, we see a sliver because the sun is illuminating three quarters.
1 quarter.
What?
1 quarter.
Yeah, 1/4 of the face, 1/4 of the face in which faces us. Okay, now let's see that inside. בזמן המולד, הירח נמצא מהשמש, מיום ליום נראה הירח מתרחק מן השמש בשיעור של כ-12 degrees לכל יממה. It's 12 degrees every day. עבור יושבו אחד מהמולד, after 1 week, נוצרת זווית של 90% בערך. That's the ches of the month. It's about a 90-degree angle. בין הירח, הארץ והשמש. Between the moon, the earth, and the sun. See the half of the moon which is illuminated. Then it continues to get further from the sun. It's not really getting further from the sun. I'm not sure exactly what it means by that. I guess it is because it's going to the other side of the earth. I don't know what it means. Further than the sun?
Further away from the sun, because it starts out between the earth and the sun.
So now it's going behind. Okay.
And the sun doesn't move, right? It's in the same place.
Okay. So באמצע חודש הוא יוצא זווית של 180 degrees, angle of 180 degrees. הארץ נמצאת בין הירח ובין השמש. The earth is between the moon and the sun. זה ליל המילוא. This is the night of which it's complete. בלילה זו מופנה כל חצי המואר של הירח. This night, the entire illuminated half of the moon faces the arts, Valvana, and the rates on it, and you always see the moon in its fullness. Till now, the moon has waxed. Now it wanes. It continues to get more distant from the sun on one side, and with it gets closer on the other side. So בשבוע השלישי של חודש, the end of the 3rd week of the month, או רבי בחודש, יראה מחצית שטחו המואר של ירח, will see half of the illuminated part of the moon. At the end of the month, הולך ונעלם, it continues to disappear. וחשוב יראה לנו, אני חידושו לאחר מולד, and then we'll see again after the מולד. להלן תרשים, later, right now comes a chart, שמסביר התופעה שמות הירח, הנגמרת מתוצאה, This shows how the moon is illuminated differently depending on its relative placement is the earth and the sun. Beit v'masluach chitzoni, in the outer orbit, see that the moon always illuminates half of the moon, sun, the moon. The masluach pnimi, in the inner one, to see what we see on earth. Okay, that is al b'chodesh tzchias chodesh mod yarech, and tezel chodesh emsa chodesh harech miglo, the moon in its completion. Okay, now going over to the column on the other side. I have never mastered this. Okay, this is because this is a whole different variable. It doesn't always happen the day of the Moed, but adjacent there too. Therefore, you can't see that there's not precision is not what we're going to see here. Just a general explanation. The moon and the sun both rise, and set, almost at the same time. Therefore, we usually don't see the moon. It sets a few moments after sunset. But because the moon is very, very thin, the visible part, or shemesh hamamemelav, and the sun's rays kind of overwhelm it. Lo down lirota, we can't see it. Shkiata levana, the setting of the moon, also it's rising. Mitacher b'chol yom, shiur shechamishim gets 15 minutes later each day, b'korov approximately. Yom shiba chodesh, the second day of the month, we have shemesh hasa yoreh kermesh hayarech. What are these words? I guess the crescent of the moon. The Paratei Ma'arav in the western sky, the Shokeh Kishachre Hashemesh, setting about an hour after the sun. Yom Zayim Chodesh, Soma Shmor Rishon Shel Chodesh, the end of the first week of the month. Hareach Zorech Tzarayim rises in the afternoon, Shokeh Chatzot Havayla, and sets in the middle of the night. Yom Tetvav Chodesh, and so Chodesh Hareach Milo, the moon is complete. Uzerech Samushka, it rises near Shkias Hashemesh, and sets near the sunrise. The end of the third week, it rises around midnight and sets in the afternoon. The end of the month, it rises before sunrise, but because of the light of the sun, and because of the thinness of the crescent of the moon, can't see it. And on the last day of the month, we can't see the moon at all. A day or two later, beginning next month, it's going to be, the moon will be revealed at the western horizon, with the sunset. These are all synonyms. 27 times it says Yarech. Levana is Nadir, it's only 3 times. Rare. Sar, Me'aramit Sierra, Baramit Sar. But it's a rock, Agan Hasar, only that terminology, once it's Hashem, is a version ship, Parasheu Pirshu, Kikinuli Yarech Milo, some say refers to the whole moon. Okay, now we gravitate to the bottom of the page. On the right. Chodesh, Rosh Chodesh, Herech Chidusho. Limonach Chodesh, Losham Muvani. 3 meanings to Chodesh. One Chodesh Muvanan, Nafosim Kubayom. Its common day is as much being Chidush Herech Echad Mishneu. Time between renewal of the moon and the next renewal of the moon. Perak Azman, Shabin Lamola Lamola. Mentioning the Mola, Shabakrov Shloshim Yom. It's practically 3 days, Kam Bashala, Chodesh Hanil 3, and therefore it's borrowed terminology by the Christian calendar, Chodesh Hanil who 1/12 Shashim Sheet Midakrova le Chodesh Hayarchi. The Christian month is 1/12 of the solar year, which is close enough to the lunar month. 2 Chodesh Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh. Mikra Chodesh Al Piro B'Shem Chodesh. They dropped the Rosh. Chodesh is Hayarech Milu Chidusho. Chodesh Mishnah Talmud means the new moon. Kesel, Kina Liyom Amola, prepare Prush the Pasuk, Tiko Bashol Chodesh Shafar, Kesel Liyom Chagenu. איך אך יש ורשים על פי שפות שמיות עתיקות, זה כאילו יום מלא הירח, מילוי הירח. So some people say Kesa, conventionally Chazal say Kesa is the moon is covered, which is Rosh Chodesh. Others say Kesa is the high point of the month, the Tesva B'Chodesh. Okay, and now to complete the page, we have our manner of eclipse. So Likuya Reach can only occur when at the time of the full moon, when the moon is behind the sun, the earth. It's a table on the bottom on the left. Likuya Reach Area Ach Birak Be'ed Milu'o. Klamar Be'emtza Chodesh העברי, middle of the Jewish month, Kasher Haaretz Ba. When the earth comes between the sun and the moon. Not in the middle of every will there be a lunar eclipse. Because mostly the moon's orbit takes it on a higher plane than direct line. Imagine the imaginary direct line, over mi merkaz hashemesh, passing in the middle of the sun, el oret to the earth. Kasher reach over b'diyuk et hakav yashar now, yakav likui yorech. It's only going to be a lunar eclipse if there's a direct line between sun, earth, and moon. Okay. Likui hashemesh is when the moon comes between the earth and the sun. Likui hashemesh achrak beit hamolat. Only happened at the time of the Shata Kibbutz. Right before, right adjacent Rosh Chodesh, when the sun goes, when the moon goes between the sun and the earth. The moon does not always go, most of the time, not go on direct imaginary plane line. And in Shah Mikador to the Shemesh, Rabbi Rahamim said that go Takavona Much Mi Hakavam Dume Ha. No. Okay, so the point is like this, that also depends where you are on Earth, right? Because from your perspective, you might be able to see. That's why there's some places with full eclipse and partial eclipse, because depending on where you are, the moon relative to where you are may not be between the earth and the sun, but it might be between the earth and the sun relative to somebody else and somewhere else on the globe. So that is a factor. Okay, so the bottom line is that lunar eclipses and solar eclipses can occur everywhere, can occur on Earth, not everywhere, on Earth every month. But it's a matter of perspective and a matter of how far or low the trajectory of the moon is relative to that imaginary straight line.
Right.
Okay, so the Gemara in of course says that Levana is not a good sign for Jews. It's a good sign, not good sign just for Goyim or also for Jews. We should be zara that the Likui L'chama tomorrow should be one which is bad for enemies and good for us.
Amen.
Okay, for today.
Okay, shkach.
So next time we will do Mir Tashem, the Logan Dash Day, which actually builds on the Molad and Molad Zokin, as we know. Okay, shkoyach.
Hey, Rukhtia.
Have a great week.
You too. Bye.